Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. This is our Rockies out to the Pop Baseball 26. 17-9 we ended June. 7-2 in July. We still can't bat. We're hitting a few home runs, but we still can't bat. Our pitching and defense has gone kind of crazy again. More our pitching. Yeah. The bullpen that Waivers built is doing some serious heavy lifting. Somehow, we find ourselves a game above our Pythagorean record and then 52 of 41. I don't know how or why or what's going on. Brenton Doyle's hit 15 home runs. We've got a bunch of double-figure home run hitters doing well. Amador's still batting really well at a 293. Starling just hit for the cycle, going 5 for 5. Like, these players I didn't expect to do anything, especially not on the batting side this year. They're doing bits. Ritter's playing well. Amador's playing well at third. Not what I thought he'd be playing. Doyle's hitting well. Like, yeah, we're a game back on the Giants, but we're also a couple of games up on the Dodgers. It's a real fight. But yeah, it's probably a year or two above where I thought we'd be. You know, year 2, year 3, I thought we'd be in this position somehow. This has ended up year 1. I think bringing back Keston Hiura was huge for our leadership, and our cohesion is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Looking again then at the pitching, Lorenzen at about a 5. And look at that. Robbie Ray, Steven Matz, Justin Verlander, 3.5 to 3.4s. RJ Petit is just doing business. He's not winning a ton, but he's doing business. And also here, you know, okay, Trent Thornton, Jose Butto, they've been lit up a little bit. But, you know, Jake Bird on a 326, Vodnik 322, everyone else, you know, 288, 245, 180, and a 127. This bullpen is killing it. Killing it. We've only done the big trades to get rid of people. We took on assets we didn't think would help us much. One's hit for the cycle. One is 7 wins at a 3.42 ERA. Another's got 8 wins at a 3.54. Another has 10 wins at a 3.49. We didn't expect this to happen. The waiver claims, yeah. They've got a Schneider, Bazzado, Thornton, and Payamps, half of our bullpen, and it is working right now. I don't really know what else to say about the team. There hasn't been a ton of changes. We're just doing what we're doing. 15 home runs for Doyle, 11 for Amador, 11 for Ritter, 10 for Joey Gallo. He's finally come back alive a little bit, but he is below that 25 to 30 pace I thought he'd be on, and I wanted him on. He could come alive second half of the season, go hot, and just smash some in. I'm kind of hoping he does. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping he does. Overall WAR scores, even though they're not that useful, you know, Ryan Ritter should probably be an all-star. Amador and Doyle could be as well. Yeah. On the pitching side of things, WAR score, Robbie Ray, 25 million. But I knew he was a better pitcher than we had, and I'd take on that contract just to get better pitching and get rid of the bad pitching that was paid too much. I just felt good about that, and to be honest with you, it's all kind of falling into place where it all makes a lot of sense. Free agency, 9.5 now for Nato. We're not doing. Verlander is retiring. Mats wants a new deal. I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger, but maybe one more year we could do at $6 million. And to be honest with you, Scotty's been pretty decent. We could bring him back on the cheap. So yeah, even hitting a cycle, I think Starling's got to go. Tomash is too expensive because Braxton's good enough to play that position, and Justin wants to retire. So it all kind of works out a little bit. 5 months for Troy Johnson. He's about a third of the way into that. So he has got, knocked out, and Nick Martini has been called in as that veteran bat to help us out. But I've got no idea how or why we are 52 and 41. No idea. We can either start the draft and try and find something, or import the draft results and just take what we had. I think if we import the draft, I know we get the best bat in the draft at number 4 in this game, because I've done a little scout and I don't think there's anyone else there. So I think that's a little unfair in this game world, especially since we're having success. I think we just let Ethan Holiday go to Washington at number 1. And then possibly one of the shortstops like Jojo Parker might go number 2. Case Cunningham. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing another one go number 3. And Jojo Parker it is. Okay, well, that opens up the doors for us in a few ways. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the sortable list. What are we? Custom filters. What do we got set up? Okay, so we're not showing impossible players. We're not showing low baseball IQ or low work ethic players. And they've got to have at least 3-star potential. That is what is showing. So this kind of becomes our draft pool for right now. We'll kind of weaken that as we move forward. At 4th overall, we do really like Cameron Appenzella. Great personality. Lacks a bit of punch. Lacks an impressive pitch. He just looks good everywhere. He would be extremely hard. He would be over slot. Average competition level. His ERA wasn't amazing. His FIP minus was. So, I don't know. Like, would you draft him 4? He is a starter, but he doesn't feel special. He doesn't feel special. Savion Sims, fastball slider, changeup that probably won't develop. Still very good personality, a bit more pop to him. Definitely a starter, but honestly, he's probably going to end up 2 pitches and low control. you're looking at a reliever in Savion Sims, I think. Now, that being said, you're probably looking at a pretty dang good reliever. But I don't know if I want to take him at 4. And Marcelo Harsh is pretty much a mix of the two. The player I like a little bit is Liam Doyle, but again, I don't know. But I do think he's genuinely possibly going to have 4 pitches. If we don't take him, I think he goes somewhere in those teens. But I don't know. There's people like Middleton and Syme who also look pretty good. Holden looks pretty good. I don't know. If I was taking people, I'd probably go Syme, Middleton, Holden, Doyle, Sims, and maybe Appenzell. That would probably be my list of pitchers I would look at. Now, on the batting side of things, also, I don't really think there's a ton I love here. Again, there's some 3-star guys. Trent Carraway's okay. You know, Petrie Stevenson is a solid catcher. Great personality. And is a solid bat on top. So, like, there's definitely value later on in the draft. I think when you come up and you see Quentin Young, solid defense, good infield arm, good power, screams third baseman, something we are looking for. If we can develop him quickly, that would be a real help. Willett, I think, is a good player, just has 0 power. Not really what I'm looking for. And we're not really hurting for shortstop either. Don't think he fits too much elsewhere. We're kind of got logger jams at second and shortstop anyway. Jace Laviolette, probably the biggest bat left in terms of power. When he hits it, it stays hit. I don't mind him at all. I just don't think he's got an amazing bat compared to everybody else. And he doesn't offer much else. And then you got someone with all the power in the world who just absolutely crushes it, but isn't that good at playing catcher. Backup catcher, DH catcher, Omar Cerna could be a very interesting option. So I feel like I've got a couple of power hitters that I'm not thrilled with at $6.5 million each. So 400, 900, 45, and a 5.2. Against, yeah, look, see, pretty even, like average. Played amazing, great competition. Played not much worse. I mean, Jace is probably the way to move out of those two. And then Willits is just good all around, but he just can't hit with power. He's very expensive. Quentin Young's got some power. He's solid all round. I think if I was picking, it might be Jace. Also, scouting director says Omar Cerna. if we're going pitcher, they would go Savion Sims. I do agree. He is a little expensive. I guess because I'm caught in like six minds, I think I'm gonna go with Omar Sherner and follow my advice from the scouting director. Jace goes 5. Willits, Nayans, Conrad, Carlson, Quentin Young. And Liam Doyle is the first pitcher off the board. I'm not really surprised. I probably would have taken Savion above him. I don't know what the demand for Liam Doyle was. I think it's probably like 3 million. Somewhere around there, maybe. I really wasn't paying as much attention as I probably should have been. Savion Sims was 10 million. I do still expect him, Anderson, and Appenzeller to go fairly quickly. Jamie Arnold, another solid pick. Slightly the Bruin I liked. Trent Carraway, we liked those as well. Dean Curley was decent. Tyler Bremner went. Didn't see him going above some of these names. Hold on though. Davalam and Sims goes at 19. So the dream of 10 million spent in the second round dies. And Kate Anderson goes at 20. So, yeah, two of my favorite pitchers have gone. Arquette, Seth Hernandez, Gage Wood, Aloy. I liked all those. Irish was solid. Brady Ebel. Middleton, another pitcher I really liked. Devin Taylor was decent. Luke Stevenson was decent. He was one of the better hitters. Defensive catchers with good personality and could hit a little bit. It's pretty good value, actually, for the Mets at 38. They don't really need a catcher. Dean Livingston goes off the board. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a couple of guys here that are standing out in some way, shape, or form, right? Craylot is very good on base. He has the range to play center field. And he could have a bit of power. Now, his competition level is only fair. There is that. But he was still almost 300 average, slugging 639, and creating, 26 and a half runs above average. Like, it's not bad. The bat is also fairly developed. He doesn't have a great arm, but that range and error are pretty good. The stealing's pretty good. The running and speed are pretty good. If we are looking at moving off Brenton Doyle, Craylot could be a very, very interesting outfielder. Very interesting indeed. Gusty Gustavo Melendez looks solid. Nothing wrong with him. No power. We don't love him too much. Dean Moss just looks like a guy. And that's it for the outfielders. Whereas there's a lot of pitchers in the mix still, including Cameron Appenzeller. I was going to say I'd be very, very surprised if people weren't recommending him, but Ty Peoples, instead, another guy who can hit a bit and is good defensively, but a low work ethic. That's why we haven't got him on the list. If we're going down center fielder, I don't mind locking in Kraylot. I don't mind it. My only issue is Mikhail Holden's one of the few pitchers I like the look of a little bit. Yeah. I wonder if he's going to be there by the time we get back round. I'm guessing not. He is. He is. I'm taking him because I feel a little more comfortable about him than Appenzell. Especially at 9.5 million. I can come back in under demand. I think that works for us. I'm going to take the only position player left that is even on our pseudo board. And there we go. So finally someone picks up Appenzell. Seattle, with their great pitching already, they add a very high potential player to the list. OSA does not have him rated highly. Our scout thinks he is going to be great, but I just don't like his makeup or the amount we'd have to spend. We are coming a decent amount under our estimated slot and well under what we actually set aside for the draft, which means we could swing from the fences from here on in. Now, I've got to be honest, I haven't scouted these guys out as much as I should have. So if you're looking for stuff and the most developed player right now, it's Dylan Tate. That changeup is woeful and always will be. That sinker will never improve. But that cutter might be a third pitch. A good fastball and slider at pace with a possibility of an above-average cutter. An average-ish guy who needs some work but could turn into something. Low leadership, that sucks, but so be it. Adaptability, we'll get there. High financial ambition is not the worst thing in the world. High work ethic, high baseball IQ. Borderline starter. Good pace. Needs a little bit of work on his movement. We can train his movement up a little bit. I can see that working. I could see it working. Competition level, great in college. Striking out almost 27%. Walking 8.5. Whipper 127. BABIP 304. ERA 338. Sierra 310. FIP minus of 85 or a WAR score 1.8. Great competition level. Dylan Tate. He does look like he will be the most impressive guy there. Jack McKernan, high work ethic, high baseball IQ, ground baller, good stamina, little slow, and a little average makeup. Against an average competition level, he absolutely crushed it. Don't mind taking him either. High baseball IQ, leadership, kind of a guy. Crushed average. Probably a reliever at the big levels. Fly ball, but with work ethic. Crushed it against average. Yeah, I think Dylan Tate is my pickup here. That's stuff potential. He's just definitely the best pitcher right now. The best pitcher long term. And he has a trait I really like with high velocity and a lot of pitches. I can't really judge pitchers that well, but I feel like Dylan Tate at least has a shot. I don't mind any of this trio. I think top to bottom, I like them the best. So Jack Kernan, we're going to have to pay his demand out. 2.2 million for a 5th rounder. Absolutely fine. Noah Yoda will take in the 6th. McLean Moody will take in the 7th. And then we can come down to 2.5 stars and see if anybody jumps out to me. Like, are there any batters? Let's start there. So we know there are pitchers, that's for sure. But let's take a look at some of these bats then. Any power hitters who are okay at other things? Yeah, a couple. Lorenzo Carrier. Won't hit the ball very well, but is a good defender who could play center with a below average bat with power. Maybe train his contact. He becomes an all-round kind of okay player. Grant Hussey is a first baseman who can hit. Jason doesn't look exciting. Van Cleve has a great name, but not much else. Brody's a no-go. Wow, perfect personality. Terrible on base, not much of a hitter, not much of a fielder. Definitely a clubhouse guy. Archimon's okay. Jackson Chirello is a solid all-round guy. Dubovnik, good on base, solid defense. He's okay here. Frasman wants to get paid, but is okay. Really good personality. Good defense, good on base, solid bat. Gabe Graulau. He feels like a player that could be useful. He does feel like a player that could be useful. Kind of killed it against average competition. Danny Harden's okay. Ty Harvey can play a little defense and hit. So can Truett Madonna. So can Cannon Peebles. Okay, so we got some catchers later on. Great personality. Not a great bat. Again, could be a very defensive center fielder. Definitely feel that's what this draft is built out of. Definitely don't want to take any first baseman or just average kind of first baseman. Good clubhouse by there. Rylan Galvin is kind of okay. Great personality. Not much else. Not much. Great defense. Great defense from Shy Robinson. Not a bad bat. Not great. Good personality. Good on base. Shy Robinson, I guess, is someone we can keep an eye on. Cherado. Great on base. Shame about the bat. But yeah, people like Gabe Growlow, I think are very interesting to me. Shy Robinson, very interesting to me. I don't know really who else is there that I like the look of. Who's the best home run potential guy? Noah Allen. Slow pitch, okay. Probably a long reliever. Don't love that. Braden Sloan looks a better all-rounded guy, but he still doesn't have a pitch to throw. Neither does Torres. Definitely think this view is going to help me out here, because we need to find people that actually have pitches. That curveball's probably not going to develop, right? That's kind of the shame for Matt Barr. Yeah, same with Bingaman, really. Cozart could have a few extra pitches, though, even if that curve doesn't come in. It probably will. That changeup probably doesn't. But curve, slider, fastball, bit of potential, bit of pace, bit of stamina. Need to work on his home runs. But Samuel Cozart, I don't hate. I really don't. Yeah. JJ Taliki, solid pitcher with born on changeups, 98 mile an hour, borderline starter potential. Didn't play well, though, against competition. I'm going to take Kozak because I didn't see much else I liked. So I think I'd take him. And let me go back to the batters and just kind of see who's here. I think I like Gabe. I'm just going to take Gabe. No point in messing about. And is Shy still here? Shy is still here. I think we do just that. Truitt, I mean, I don't think Truitt's the best catcher. If you want a catcher, I'm happy to take a catcher. Yeah, you can't really play catcher, so you're kind of a cheat there. But you're really good if we don't want power. But you always kind of want power. So a defensive catcher that doesn't get struck out much. There is some use to him. Masato Chilcutt. Lannon Hodge can't hit or play catcher. Ryan Galvan can kind of do both, but meh. Same with Truitt. Same with Jack. You want catcher? Then let's go with a defense catcher that just won't get struck out. How about that? That's, I think, decent right there. Max Williams. Solid bat, solid guy, solid. I don't hate it. It's difficult to judge, that's for sure. I don't hate it. I'm looking for good bats across the field. And there ain't much. I think what you're gaining in one place, you're losing in others, and that's kind of to be expected. Who's got great defense that doesn't play left field or first? Lorenzo Carrier. Yeah, there's something about him. Jonathan Bud Coombs. It's interesting. It's interesting. No bat, but oh my god, he's great on base with great range and error, high leadership, work ethic, and baseball IQ. Can hide him a corner outfield if you want, but a defensive center fielder, sure. Needs to work on his contact a little bit to be an average bat, but he does have gap power, and, you know, Coors is very triple friendly. I don't mind that against great competition. 278, slugged 15, 16.6 RAA, 395 over. Josiah Ragsdale, I mean, I kind of feel bad about it because we seem to be going heavy center field and heavy pitchers. So that's what's here. That's what's here. Very much another guy in that vein. Good competition level, batting almost 300, slugging 5. Owen Prince, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. We've kind of got the outfield completely sewn up here, I feel. I don't love many of these bats, like, at all. I really don't love these bats at all. So I think we should just be looking at pitchers at this point. And yeah. Kind of home run guys. Like Noah Allen. Cameron's a heck of a guy. We just bring him in. We saw Talicki earlier. Don't think he's amazing, but you know what? That's an easy pickup for me at this stage. Connor Knox looks just like a guy. It's so hard to judge these players. It's so hard. Again, Matt Barr definitely has a chance. Definitely has a chance. Does anybody look good? Anybody feel good at first glance? Anybody gonna show me something? There's a change up. I wonder if that's going to pan out. Yeah. No ground ballers, no fast pitchers. Nobody that really stands out. Cool. Let's start. Dropping a little more down. Again, it doesn't seem to be much here in pitchers, though. I was hoping a couple more would be unleashed, and they have been, but I don't love what we're seeing. Okay. Maybe we finish off on bats. Maybe we just finish off on bats. Chris Arroyo. I don't love the personality. I really love Bo's personality. I wish he could hit. I really wish they could hit. I'm not drafting another catcher. I'm not drafting a first baseman. If I've got to take another center fielder, I will do. Eddie Zone. Don't love the low intelligence, but I do think it's about as good as I can get here. And that just really shows quickly how much we can shut this down. I think Jonathan Coombs was a guy that I debated over earlier on, so I guess round 18 is a great place for him. TJ Ford, no power, but a good kind of guy. No strikeouts and a decent eye could be a defensive guy that gets around the bases, right? Don't mind those, to be honest with you, either. So an average guy with a good personality or a meh personality, someone that just doesn't have power. Think every day of the week I am gonna take TJ. And that is gonna end off draft. We can go to our draft history. So Cerner, number 1, could be a good hitting catcher. Lott, a defensive center fielder who can hit. Mikhail Colden, at least we got one of the pitchers I liked. Dean Moss, another guy who can hit and be decent defensively. Dylan Tate looked okay. McKernan looked okay. Yoda looked okay. We're getting a lot of 3-star pitching prospects, at least in the building. McLean Moody and Cozart, a little bit under that. Growlow, we liked him a little bit as well, of course, and Shy Robinson too. Then Chilcutt, another catcher. Ragsdale, Prince, Allen, Kashok, Talicki, Barr, who we were going to draft earlier. Same with Jonathan Coombs. Chiaroda we looked at a little earlier on. And we're finishing off with TJ Ford. He definitely looks the worst of the bunch. Okay, I'm okay with that. That's not amazing, but it's also not the worst in the world. So, yeah, we're about even after Cerner, Lott, and McKernan. And then we're a decent amount up, we're $1 million to the good here, which we're now going to spend to get Yoda and Kozat signed. So honestly, I feel like that's pretty fair. I think we're about 1.5, a little less than that, probably like 1.3, 1.5 under our slot values, which is almost what we saved on Cerner. This, we spent a little bit more here than a slot. So if we add up all this slot and we add everybody up apart from Tate, I think we're about even. And so yeah, 6.8 instead of 8, 1.2, probably a bit more than that, 1.3-ish. I'm okay with that though. We came in under our budget. We came in under slot. We got a couple of catchers. We got a bunch of outfielders. We got a potential maybe third baseman. And we got a bunch of pitchers, two of which I think could start. One probably makes a rotation at AAA. The other probably is a long reliever. And then everybody else is just a reliever. But again, it could be worse. Beat Cincinnati. We lose to Cincinnati, but 7-game ribby streak for Ryan Ritter. The big league hitter. Carlos Santana for Braxton Fulford. That's a hell no. And that gives us our lineups then for the All-Star game. You can pause and look at these names. That's the American League, the National League. We do not have a pitcher, which isn't exactly surprising, but it is the way we've been playing. But the name that does get elevated is young Adael Amador. He is absolutely crushing it this season. And yeah, sure. I think it's a lot of sense that he gets the call up. Brian Ritter, I think, had a shot at it. And honestly, one or two of our pitchers, our relievers, I figured could be in the mix. But to be fair, you know, there's always a bunch of good relievers and closers out there, and they do tend to take a lot of closers to have obscenely good stats. So, okay, Amador is our guy then. Here in the futures game, we got Wellington Herrera. Not bad. Could be something someday. Charlie at first base. And that is it. Yanquiel Fernandez gets in for St. Louis, though. We do see that. We don't love that. We don't love that because we love Fernandez. And one of my favorite pitchers, Andrew Painter, is also in this game as well. And the American League, looks like that. So yeah, let me know what you think about that draft and about Amador getting the call up and nobody else. Looks like Marcel Mayer got his big time to shine in the futures game. Scherner, our first round draft pick, the catcher who can hit. He has signed his deal. 4th overall, tons of power, an okay bat. Got to teach him how to play catcher, but a good personality and possibly a big hitting DH from catcher, from the bench. Who knows? I don't hate the idea. Mikhail Holden as well, our favorite pitcher. Took him at the back end of round 2, I believe, pick 31 of round 2. Looks like he could be a semi-effective starter. Good personality. Young enough to develop. That changeup, of course, is very hit and miss, mainly miss in these games. And Dean Moss, our 3rd round pick, just a few picks later, that left fielder who's just decent everywhere, but with a little bit of power. I honestly looked at him and I didn't feel there was a ton of difference between him and players like well, Charlie, basically. I didn't feel there was a ton of difference between them. Now, current ability, sure, yes. Charlie is a little bit of a better bat everywhere, but very similar in terms of just their makeup. So, they're both barbit power hitters with some gap and eye and contact as their secondary, and they both take more strikes than anything else. And then looking defensively at the two of them, they're both fairly similar in the outfield, which is where I feel both of them would end up, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's something I looked at. Not that I think that Dean Moss at 77th overall is as good as Charlie or ever will be, but it does replenish a lot what we gave up, like Yanquiel Fernandez, etc. I feel like that's a solid pickup there for us. The home run challenge. Okay. The derby is set. Jock Pedersen up against Anthony Santander. Oh. We can change this. Ahaha. Well, well, well. Why didn't you say so? I can put Joey in this. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Jock gets 27. Santander gets 28. Shohei, 16. Vladdy the Baddie, 17 for Daddy. Juan Soto, 18. Aaron Judge. This would have been a good final. The Mets versus the Yankees. The Judge presides. Caminero, one of the best young infielders, and Brent Rooker, solid guy. He does get through. Santander hits 24, hitting more than anybody else in the first round. Vladdy, though, 23, not quite. Anthony Santander makes it all the way to the final for Toronto. All rise, Aaron Judge, 21. Brent Rooker, 20. Toronto versus New York. Santander versus Judge. And Santander again, 24. 28 in the opening round. 24 in the semi-final. 24 in the final. Judge has gone 19 to 21 and ends up with 23. Agua Blanca. Anthony Santander takes the home run title. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He's hit 23 this season. On pace for about 38. Hope he gets 40. All-Star game. Bryce Harper playing first base. The Phillies ace is just absolutely ready to rake. What a great hitter he is. Bam Bam gets the MVP in the All-Star game. Meanwhile, Kraylot, other second rounder, second pick, kind of a good all-round guy. He goes to Arizona for us. He has signed his deal. That's our major draft picks all signed. So we won't get compensation now anyway. But 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th are left on the table. The big money is Jack McKernan, that 5th round pick. Noah Yoda signs his deal. Kavadas for Beck and Salas. I think I prefer Beck. Jared Young. They really think I need a first baseman. I'm not giving up Sosa. Never mind who else is on that list. NATO wants a new deal, but you want $9 million, so you can kind of shove it. Kozat signs. Dylan Tate signs. Nationals want to give me Josh Bell. And in Barragan to take Calaz. How about no? Blake Trainen. Ooh. Old man Blake. The train. 2 years, 8.5, and 13.5. And a defensive shortstop prospect. You would take Keston Hiura, who's my club captain, we've traded away, got back on waivers, and Royne Hernandez was a bit of a nothing prospect. What else makes that work? Nothing. You don't love Nick Martini? You love Blake Krim, right? What about Tomas Nato? You like all those, no? Doesn't look like it, folks. So yeah, we can get rid of that. And I guess probably go to the end of the month. We're sitting in second with a few games back on the Giants. We are in a wildcard spot, and we are above 500. And you know what? We had no reason to expect to be here. But here we are. And Verlander gets strikeout 3,500. Absolutely phenomenal. We're through the trade deadline, so all these trades don't really even matter. We need a new manager in Arizona. And Jack Kernan does get his deal in place. Player development. No names of any real note. And RJ is Rookie of the Month. Cool. None of those trades matter because we went through the trade deadline because we don't really care. Draftees have all been negotiated with. That's all fine. Beautiful. So August 1st, past the trade deadline. Money to spend that we're not spending. Move the money into development. Double check here. We seem to be all good in that case. Okay, so Brenton Doyle is rated. Nobody else really is. 17 home runs for Doyle. Amador's still raking. We seem to be 5 games back, and we are half a game back for the wildcard spot, which is the LA Dodgers. We are 58 and 50, and we might not make the playoffs anyway. Because as we round out July, we finished 13 and 11. Still can't really hit, although it is getting better. Our pitching and defense coming back down to earth, but it's still very impressive. The pitching now looking like this. Lorenzen still 523, 412 for Robbie Ray. The rest are in the threes, which is pretty good for starters at cores. Trent Thompson at 657 for Buto. Couple of fours, Beard and Vodnik. And then Payamps and Schneider in the twos. Kinley and Bizarro still doing bits here. And yeah, the lineup remains pretty much unchanged. Naito at catcher. Krim and Joey Gallo splitting first base. That's an interesting one. Tyler Freeman at second. Amador third. Ritter at shortstop. Martini is starting at left field, with Brenton Doyle and Starling Mart to finish off the outfield. Sosa, Beck, and Full for the bench players. Hura's the DH. So we're splitting time at first base and giving game time to Martini, which is another left hitter at least, at left field. It's kind of weird. It makes me feel like Charlie should be called up. I don't know if he should. Have your say on that. Have your say on that. Either at first or at left field. But right now, we're a solid team. We're a solid team. We know that Nito's playing well. We know Ryan Ritter is playing well. They come and go off these lists, but they are showing up. Jock Pedersen hit 40 home runs before August. Absolutely killing it down in Texas. Those are the batter stats. Those are the pitching stats. We currently do sit half a game back on the Dodgers. Joey's hitting a little bit, but that hasn't really gone to plan. But something is working. Something about this team is somehow working to give us an outside shot at a wild card spot in year one, finishing above 500. Well above my initial goal of limiting it to less than 100 losses. We could collapse. We could end up there. But so far, so good. So let me know what you think. Comment section down below. Like and subscribe if you already haven't. Check out the other playlists. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care. Stay safe. All the very best. Wish me luck. There's so much left to do. Don't think that everything's solved, because remember, 3 or 4 of those pitchers are definitely not going to be here. 2 or 3 of our starters are not going to be here next year. We are going to have to continue to get younger, bring people through, and figure things out. It's a long journey. We've just got started. I need your help. I appreciate you being here as part of the journey, and I will see you soon as we continue to resurrect these Rockies and shock the entire world, including me. You too, right? But including me. See you soon, folks.